Hey y'all, I hope y'all can hear me okay. So right now it's a little past midnight and I woke up thinking it was like 4 a.m. and I was gonna get ready. Just get up and because usually I wake up, feed my Abby. But obviously it's still a little earlier than 4 a.m. But it's funny because I just started thinking about a lot of things, that I have become more, I would say, more aware of, more of an understanding, especially with like my communication and relaying certain messages and just, being overly self-aware of how I communicate and how I speak and just so much more. And a lot of it's due to the fact, a lot of it's due to the like neurological experiences for myself. So if some of you don't know, I've talked about in a lot of my videos of, the trauma, the certain conditions that I've, experienced and have challenges with throughout my life, and how I've overcome so much, yet I still, have certain challenges. And it's interesting because for me, once I've just become more self-aware of myself and how I communicate and just a lot more things in general, I'm very just like been reflecting a lot on like how can I better communicate for others to like properly understand me in a certain way. And it's funny because you can communicate, you can think you're communicating very effectively with just anybody, but at the end of the day, it's not just about communication, it's also about comprehension, right? Because there's some people that you are communicating with as best as you can, yet they're not reciprocating the comprehension. They're still not understanding where you're coming from, whether it be, a mindset thing or just them actually listening to you. And so for me, I know I've been working a lot on, a mindset change for myself to really see myself in a different light, perceive myself in a different way, but not just myself, the world around me, and really have a more positive mindset and a positive focus on my life in general. Even though I do have certain challenges in my life, there's still certain negative, experiences that I may come across. And for me, it's like I want to be able to provide hope and inspiration for others that no matter what, that's a part of life, that's a part of learning lessons, that's a part of understanding yourself more, and it's just what life is about. And you should really, honestly, for me, I'm grateful for all the challenges and experiences I've had that are more negative, because it's helped me get to this point in my life. It's helped me, see a different perspective. It's helped me expand my mind and just challenge myself more in a way to, grow, to move forward towards, better things, and believing that I deserve better things. And so one thing for me is, understanding that communication can be hard in general, especially when you've been through so much trauma, when you've experienced so many different negative experiences throughout your life. Because even, it's science-based, where, it does change change your brain waves. It changes the way you think. It changes the way you react. It changes a lot of things within your body. And this is trauma in general. But even even the way I say certain things, right? There's some words that I struggle with saying. There's some words and just even sentences that I tend to struggle putting together, because mentally it's like I know how to, it's like mentally I can say it in my mind, but sometimes it's a struggle to communicate that effectively through my words and through how I say things. And I've just become very more self-aware of this, because it's like I've always had a way of communicating with people, and I knew every once in a while there would be times in my life where I did, struggle more, because even growing up, I struggled with reading. I had a stutter, certain things like that. But even now, I look back and understand why, because a lot of these times, like, I didn't understand why I struggled to communicate, and sometimes I would get frustrated, because we look at people with neurological issues. We look at people like people that have intellectual disabilities. We look at individuals that have gone through severe trauma, that struggle with brain injuries. So myself, I've been in several different accidents, school bus accident. I've experienced a lot of trauma. I also have been diagnosed with epilepsy, certain things like that, and it changes the chemistry in your brain. Because even people with clinical diagnosed depression, mental health disorders, which I've been diagnosed with, also have a different way of communicating. And a lot of people don't understand like the science base, or just don't understand the that's what it is, especially if they don't do the research, or are not aware of it, or just don't take the time to understand it, right? And so myself, since really just on this journey, and I consider it just like, I say spiritual journey, but to me, like, everything's spiritual, a self-development journey, just overall growth within myself, with really trying to understand more of who I am. I've noticed this within myself, and especially with, making these videos and starting to, vocalize my truth more, vocalize how I understand the world more, and just sharing message of inspiration and hope with people, to help provide them, some kind of safe place, to where it's like, it's okay, if you're struggling right now, it's okay if you're feeling a certain way, this is only temporary. And for me, like, I've been judged a lot just off of my appearance. I've been judged a lot, based off of how I communicate. I've been judged a lot with, by a lot of things. And I've worked really hard to get to where I'm at today, to really advocate for myself, and to utilize my voice to share not only my story, but to also just, share, that, everybody has a story. Everybody has a certain way of, believing and overcoming, and just really being, themselves, and doing what they can. And so it's very, I woke up and I felt called to share this message, because there's something, that I've just been experiencing, and it's really been my whole entire life, I feel. But it's like I'm becoming more self-aware of it. I'm becoming more understanding of, how I communicate, why I communicate the way I do. And I'm super grateful for it, because there's been times where it's like, man, I would compare myself to others and how they communicate. And I would compare myself and be like, man, I wish, I had that kind of talk like them or whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's like, I don't really want to compare myself to anybody anymore, And it's like I've worked on not comparing myself by appearance. I've worked on myself by not comparing myself to, success, by certain people being, at a certain place in life that I'm not at. And I think we all struggle with this. We all do this, subconsciously, to where, we may not realize that we're doing it, but we can do it. And it's becoming self-aware of, why we're doing it, and challenging ourselves to not do it, and to look at ourselves and just know that we're right where we need to be. And I think it's just super powerful, and just, I'm so grateful for this journey that I have. I'm grateful that I'm able to share these messages, no matter how I share them, even if it is a struggle sometimes to find the words, find the sentences, the wordings to communicate what I'm thinking. And it's not even just what I'm thinking, because there'll be times where, like for me, like with my music and how I spiritually, I would say channel. Sometimes it's like it just flows, right? And to me, that is a form of channeling. And then there's sometimes where it's like, when I get stuck on certain things, it's like I'm still channeling in a way, because it's like I understand what's going on in my mind, I understand what I'm seeing, but sometimes it's really hard to communicate it with words in a sentence and effectively, share how I'm seeing what I'm seeing. And that's where it's like, maybe it's not meant to be shared, or, where I really need to work more on, certain vocabulary, or, work on my throat chakra kind of thing, stuff like that. And so, it's always for me, it's always like, I'm always just grateful to become more self-aware, whether it's watching my videos and seeing how I'm communicating, but also just being able to effectively communicate in a way where people can relate. People can like really understand where I'm coming from, and just, share that message with me, or share that with me, and allow me to see that, like, I am providing some kind of hope and inspiration with them. Because sometimes, like for me, when I do, share my messages, when I do, talk about my story and my journey, even if it's just not with videos, but with people in general, sometimes, like, I don't know if I've actually reached that person. I don't know, and really it's not for me to necessarily know, and I always talk to the universe and my spirit guides, and and I know there's something that may touch them. But at the end of the day, sometimes I do, think it's like, what, I hope I communicated that effectively to where they understand where I'm coming from. Because I want to come from love. I want to come from hope. I want to come from joy. I want to come from a place where people, will perceive that it's good. And that's where, going back to the communication of, some people, you can feel like you're communicating out of love, but some people may not comprehend that. Some people may not receive that as, what you perceive as, this is coming from love, right? And And there's so much more to that. I could go down many different rabbit holes because, I also think of, the other certain traumas that I've experienced where it's like, that emotional, abusive, verbal trauma that I've experienced as well too, and it's like we have to realize that you may be communicating, you may be telling people that you care about them and you love them, yet they don't understand that all their life, the people that have hurt them, the people that have betrayed them, the people that have, said horrible or done horrible things to them have said the same thing. So they also don't know, they can't take your word for what it is. They think it's just another abusive response. And that's what I've had to understand about myself, is there's been people that have told me they love me. There's been people that have, have said that they care. But those are also people that have betrayed me, stabbed me in the back type of thing. So it's, and it's that type of trauma where you really have to be very mindful and aware of your words, because it's like you could be coming from a place of love and communicating in a way that you believe that is good, that is effective, but you also have to be aware of the fact that some people, have been through so much trauma that they don't think that's what it is. They don't think it's actually love. They don't think you actually care. And so it's about the whole mindset thing. It's all about the communication. It's all connected. And it's, for me, it's wow. It's very intense, because I've thought about this every once in a while. And it's a lot of people don't understand that. And now that, I'm voicing, advocating for myself, but sharing these messages and trying to provide hope and inspiration, it's also come to my attention that it's well, not everybody may be understanding where I'm coming from. And it's very interesting. And that's why I really wanted to share this message and just get on here, because I had been thinking about that when I woke up. And I was like, well, maybe this is my time to create a video about it and really share about it, because I know that's been my experience, for a very long time. And just, accepting the fact that, it's not just about your communication. It's not just about how you say things, but it's also about your actions, and so much more. Because for me, actions are very powerful. You can say you love me. You can say that you understand. You can say that you're going to change. You can say a lot of things, but it's the action behind what you're saying. And it all connects, to your mental state as well too. Because even for me, I would say that, I want to do these certain things. I want to work on these certain things, right? But I also had to mentally, change my mindset. Focus on, more positive things. Focus on, telling myself that, I do deserve love. I do deserve these positive things in my life. I do deserve to do the things that I want to do, and it's all connected, and for me, it's a very, very spiritual thing to become very self-aware of and understanding of, because in my experience, I've noticed a lot of people, with, me being judged with my appearance and whatnot, not a lot of people realize that I do have certain challenges with communicating, especially with just, certain sentences or just certain things in general. Because there's also delays too as well that I've experienced, where people could be communicating with me, but I don't really know what to say. or I don't understand until later, or certain things might trigger me but won't trigger me till later. And it's like a certain type of delay. And there's probably like a lot of super terminology words for these things, but I don't really keep up with all of that. But I really wanted to share this message with, because it's also connected to my music. It's like becoming more self-aware through my music, bettering my vocabulary, and just being able to effectively communicate with myself, but with others as well too, to help them become more self-aware and not limit themselves in a way where it's like they're only focused on a certain category. They're only focused on certain things in life, or they're focused on more negative things. They're focused on things that that aren't really expanding their mindset to become better overall. And we also got to think, it's not always just drugs and alcohol that fuck us up. There's other things that can fuck us up too, but we can still overcome that. We can still challenge ourselves to become better overall, no matter what we go through. And I stand firm on that. I don't like to compare myself to people, and I don't want others to compare themselves to me. But I believe if you continue to work on your mindset, be consistent, and just continue to tell yourself, even if it's just one little sentence every day, one little habit that you create every day, they talk about how creating like one little habit for 21 days, but just doing something that works for you, that you like, that that you want to put your trust in, that will help you, somehow, some way, just change your mindset, whatever it is that you want to change for yourself, to just better yourself, to reach a goal, to see something different within yourself or within your life overall. And just continue to do that. Continue to, reach for your dreams. Continue to, move forward and to find that hope or inspiration, whether it be watching certain videos on YouTube, surrounding yourself with people that want to motivate you and help you better yourself as well. Because, sometimes, we have that strong support within our life, within our environment, or within our circle. And then sometimes we may not. We may only have ourselves. And so we only have ourselves to really keep pushing forward, or we only have, certain people that we only see every once in a while to keep moving us forward. And just understanding that, that anything is possible and we can overcome anything. And it's all about our mindset. It's all about our mindset, how our perception, and really how we communicate, not to just others, but to ourselves. Because that's what I've had to learn with, my communication, my mindset, my thoughts, because I still struggle at times with certain negative thoughts, with, certain things, with certain communication. Yet I still keep moving forward and keep telling myself that I got this, that everything is working out in my favor. And that the more I continue to create these videos, the more I continue to just, focus more on the positive and just keep moving forward, it does get better. You'll look back, because that's, for me, it's like looking back every once in a while, a couple years, even months down the line, and just seeing the effect, seeing the change, seeing the transformation, kind of like with weight loss. It's like you may not see it right away, right? But looking down several months later, you're starting to notice a difference because you're being consistent, because you're really taking that time to become more self-aware and taking that step and just, continuing to move forward no matter what. So that's the message. I'm gonna try and go back to bed now. I really, really hope you guys were able to, not only hear me effectively, but understand where I'm coming from. Because for me, I really just want all my messages, to come from love and to provide some kind of hope and inspiration to you to be able to keep moving forward, to keep taking those steps, to bettering your mindset, to bettering your communication, and just to bettering your life in general. So, love you. Sending so much, joy your way. Okay, peace.